ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ ප්‍රථම වරට SLT 4G වෙතින් දැන් Pure TV නරඹන්න. ඉදිරියටම ගෙන යන SLT 4G.
ලෙන්ගතුකම වැඩි කරගන්න ලව්ජු රුපියල් 50ට අඩු කළා.
මාමේ එන්න අපිට
Tonight, mixed emotions. Another batch leaves for home after successful quarantine process, but a Sri Lankan in Switzerland succumbs to COVID-19. Enforcing discipline. Police crack down on people exploiting the window of free movement.
Hereafter, we are not going to grant police bail and they would be produced before the magistrates. We are going to make a request from the court to remand them for a period of 14 days.
Wait for normalcy. All Sri Lankans abroad asked to remain in their current locations. Getting the ball rolling. First phase of door-to-door delivery services of goods kicks off. All that and much more coming up on First at 9 this Friday, the 27th of March 2020.
හැටනමයි 97ට SMS කර රුපියල් මිලියන 3ක මුල් තැන්ගේ උපකරණ දිනාගෙන අවුරුද්දෙම කුස්සිය ටයිම් සේව් කරගන්න.
ඔබේ ආරක්ෂාව රටේ රැකවරණයයි. Sri Lanka Insurance.
From AdaDerana, this is AdaDerana First at 9. Live from Studio 24 in Colombo.
Good evening and welcome to First at 9. I'm Dhammik Ekanayak. Now, Sri Lanka's first coronavirus death was reported from Switzerland, where a 59-year-old Sri Lankan man had succumbed to coronavirus complications yesterday. Meanwhile, health authorities have reported 106 total cases following the identification of 4 cases by last night. Health Minister Pavitra Vanniyarachchi today highlighted the dangers of flouting quarantine protocols. Sri Lanka's coronavirus cases jumped to 106 following the detection of 2 more fresh cases as of 9 p.m. last evening. This also takes into account the 7 full recoveries reported as of yesterday. A total of 237 suspected patients are now under observation and treatment at numerous hospitals around the country. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Foreign Relations confirmed that a Sri Lankan national in Switzerland had died of COVID-19 related complications. The Sri Lankan embassy in Bern, Switzerland had yesterday informed the Ministry of Foreign Relations that the Swiss authorities had confirmed that the victim, a 59-year-old Swiss resident permit holder from Punkurutiu in Northern Province, had died and had tested positive for the coronavirus COVID-19. This marks the first Sri Lankan death from the virus. On a positive note, a 4th group consisting of 163 arrivals from Italy, South Korea and several other countries who completed the mandatory 14-day quarantine were released from the Batiklo campus facility to return to their homes today.
ඊයේ හවස 5න් පස්සේ රෝගීන් 4 දෙනෙක් වාර්තා වුණා මෙම රෝගය වැළඳිච්ච රෝගීන් බවට තහවුරු වුණා. ඉන් එක් රෝගියෙක් IDH රෝහලේ අප කලින්ම අඳුනාගෙන හිටිය මේ රෝගය වැළඳෙයි ඇතයි කියලා අප සැක පහල කරගනිමින් අඳුනාගෙන හිටිය රෝගියෙක්. අනික් රෝගියා තහවුරු වුණේ ඩුබායි සිට පැමිණි කෙනෙක්. ඔහු සෞඛ්‍ය අංශ සහ බුද්ධි අංශ පොලිසියේ නිලධාරීන් විසින් අඳුනාගෙන හිටියා. ඔහු ඩුබායි සිට පැමිණි කෙනෙක්. ඒ අපේ ආවේක්ෂණ පද්ධතිය තුල හිටපු කෙනෙක් තමයි මෙම කොරෝනා රෝගය වැළඳිච්ච රෝගියෙක් විදියට අපිට තහවුරු කරගන්න පුළුවන් උනේ. 3 වෙනි අඳුනාගත්ත රෝගියා ඉන්දියාවේ සිට පැමිණි කෙනෙක්. නමුත් ඔහු පොලිසියේ රෙජිස්ටර් නොවුනත් ඔහු විසින්ම කොහෙවත් යන්නේ නැතුව පිට රටක සිට පැමිණි නිසා ස්වයං නිරෝධනයකට ලක් වෙච්ච කෙනෙක්. අපේ සෞඛ්‍ය බලධාරීන් විසින් ඔහුව ඊට පස්සේ ඔහුගේ මේ ලෙඩ රෝගයත් එක්ක ඔහු IDH රෝහලට යොමු කරනු ලැබුවා. 4 වෙනි කෙනා ඊටාම වැරදි වැඩක් සමාජයට කරපු කෙනෙක්. ඔහුගේ පුතා ලංකාවට පැමිණියා පෞගිය 15 වෙනිදා ඉන්දියාවේ සිට ඔවුන් ඒ බව දැනුම් දුන්නේ නැහැ. ඒ නිසා අපේ ආවේක්ෂණ පද්ධතිය යටතේ හෝ සෞඛ්‍ය ආවේක්ෂණ පද්ධතිය යටතේ මොහු අපට අඳුනා ගන්නට බැරි වුණා. 85 හැවිරිදි ඔහුගේ පියා රෝගියෙක් විදියට ඊයේ තහවුරු වුණා. මේ වෙන විට එම රෝගියා නොයෙකුත් ස්ථානවලට ගිහිල්ලා තියෙනවා. නොයෙකුත් රෝහල් වලට, සමාජයේ නොයෙකුත් තැන්වලට, යම් තැන්වල යම් ගොනුවීන් වලට ඔහු සහභාගී වෙලා තියෙනවා. එක පුද්ගලයෙක් ඇති මුළු මහත් රටේම මේ රෝගය පතුරවන්න. එවැනි වගකීම් විරහිත පුද්ගලය සම්බන්ධයෙන් රජයක් විදියට අප ගත හැකි සියලු දඬුවම් අපි ගැනීමට කටයුතු කරනවා.
Meanwhile, police leave was cancelled with immediate effect until the 10th of April following a directive issued by acting IGP C.D. Vikramaratne as an added measure to combat the virus and maintain public security. The government also made a host of announcements yesterday aimed at both shoring up its fight against the virus spread and to provide new relief measures for businesses struggling with the coronavirus downturn. The work from home period has also been extended to the 3rd of April and will apply to all state, semi-government and private sector entities except which are categorized as essential services. A presidential task force to combat COVID-19 has been appointed by President Gotabaya Rajapaksa, consisting of a 40-member advisory panel including provincial governors, ministry secretaries, ministry heads, the acting IGP, key government, departmental authority and cooperation chairman, and district and divisional secretaries. President's Special Representative Basil Rajpaksha was appointed chairman of the task force. In addition to setting out policy, the task force's other main responsibilities, as laid out in the Gazette notification signed by the President, include the provision of required facilities to support the farming and production of rice, grams, vegetables, fish, dairy and eggs, and will also oversee key factors relating to the export of crops, including tea, cinnamon and pepper. Its other tasks will lie in the maintaining of efficient coordination between the country's ports, customs, financial sector and state regulatory bodies to create a seamless supply chain of essential dry food items and pharmaceuticals. The task force will also work to ensure a continuous supply of food items directly to the consumers from local producers. The President has accordingly instructed officials of all government entities to provide all necessary cooperation and information to the task force. Meanwhile, in a further move, President Gotabaya has also declared the Central Bank of Sri Lanka, commercial banks, insurance services and the Treasury as essential services. Health, security, police, logistics and distribution, customs, electricity, water and fuel supply services are the other services also designated. Secretary to the President, Dr. P.B. Jayasundara, has directed the Central Bank to take measures to keep the Central Bank, all banking and insurance companies and their branches and the Treasury open with a minimum number of staff members. The Presidential Secretariat has also directed the Commissioner General of Inland Revenue to announce a grace period for February and March VAT payments until the 30th of April. The new deadline will cover February and March VAT payments on financial services. Accordingly, payments made on or before the 30th of April this year for these periods shall be deemed payments made on due dates, and any late payment penalties auto-imposed by the system are to be waived off. The directive also extended by 1 month the validity of credit vouchers due against VAT deferred under the deferment facility expiring before the 30th of April. Further, temporary VAT registrations expiring prior to the 30th of April as per the certificates have been given a validity extension until the 30th of April. Also, February VAT returns are to be submitted before the 31st of March with the e-filing facility available through the IRD portal for such submissions. The IRD said that those unable to do so through this facility or manually will be required to submit such returns up to 30th of April. Meanwhile, the President has also ordered the setting up of hotlines for public relations divisions of the Presidential Secretariat to receive public complaints. Members of the public will be able to lodge complaints regarding violations of government orders and regulations and any inconveniences via 0112 354 550 or 0112 354 655. Further, the public can also directly contact officials at the Secretariat via 0112 354 354 and choosing extensions 3872 or 3874 or 3875. Director of Public Coordination Kapila Gunasinghe too can be contacted on his direct line 077 374 3718. Further, hotlines for complaints regarding any COVID-19 matters were also announced. People can lodge complaints on 0112 860 003 or 0112 860 004 or 0112 354 354 with the extension 3355. The President's office assured the public that full investigations will be held regarding complaints of non-compliance with any presidential directives.
කොරෝනා වෛරසය පැතිරීම වළක්වන්න සබන් යොදා දෑත් සෝදන්න.
Now, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa today ordered the police and armed forces to strictly enforce current curfew laws in order to control the spread of the coronavirus COVID-19. Meanwhile, with reports of supermarkets being kept open today and outlets crowded with people, the acting IGP ordered the closing of all supermarkets and pharmacies in the country except for those which are outlets of the State Pharmaceutical Corporation.
The ongoing curfew was temporarily lifted at 6 this morning in districts of Puntland and the Northern Province, except Jaffna, providing a window for the public to purchase the essential items. People in many areas of the said districts were seen following safety protocol, including the maintaining of a mandatory distance of at least 1 meter. In contrast, however, members of the public ignored such health advice when they lined up to obtain an interest-free loan of Rs 10,000 provided by the Samurdhi Bank in Mullaitivu. With its reimposition, the curfew will be in effect in all districts in the country, excluding Jaffna and the entirety of Western Province, until 6 am on Monday, the 30th of March. However, after being lifted at 6 am, curfew will be reinforced in these areas at 2 pm the same day. The Western Province and the Jaffna district, which are classified as high-risk zones, will be under lockdown until further notice. Despite curfew being imposed, vehicular movements didn't seem any different to a normal day in these districts. The police headquarters announced a statement today saying that although supermarkets have been permitted to distribute essential food items door to door, it has been reported that these shops were kept open, enabling consumers to purchase them from the outlets. With shops being inundated by consumers, the acting IGP ordered officers in charge to close all shops with immediate effect. Meanwhile, releasing a special statement today, the President's office urged the public to follow the instructions to the letter. The statement reassures that the task force formed to look into the delivery of essential commodities has made all arrangements to ensure that purchasing requirements from home is continually made available for consumers. The statement also requests the public to not loiter around during curfew. Excluding the vehicles permitted by the task force to transport goods including food and other essential items, all other vehicles must produce a curfew permit. It is a reminder that inter-district movement and the transporting of tourists have been restricted by the government. Furthermore, the statement grants permission for cultivation activities at tea plantations as well as fisheries activities. It adds that airport and port services should also be maintained as usual. Meanwhile, the police have arrested 4,018 persons for violating curfew during the last 8 days, while also taking 1,033 vehicles into custody. Speaking to AdaDerana today, Head of Traffic Police DIG Ajit Rohan announced strict legal action, including the denial of police bail for curfew violators.
So hereafter, Sri Lanka police are taken stern action against the lawbreakers in respect of curfew violation. Earlier, we arrested suspects under the quarantine law for the violation of quarantine curfew, but they were granted police bail. Hereafter, we are not going to grant police bail and they would be produced before the magistrates, and we are going to make a request from the court to remand them for a period of 14 days. Especially during this curfew period, we allowed some patients or the persons who require their essential items and drugs without any curfew permit, but it has been observed that many persons had misused this particular opportunity. So therefore, hereafter, we don't allow anybody to move on roads without a valid curfew permit issued by the local police, except health services, doctors, nurses, and other employees, and essential services such as electricity, water and power. In addition to that, the employees of media institutions and the employees of communication institutions. And in addition to that, we consider the ID as the curfew pass in respect of the institutions that are providing foods, drugs and health equipments. It has been observed that some persons are reluctant to divulge their identity in respect of corona disease. So if you have traveled to foreign countries or otherwise if your relatives, inmates of your house, if they have landed from foreign countries, you need to inform the nearest police station or 119, and if you are getting any symptom, you must inform the nearest police station or 119 center, and you should not go to the police station, you should not move from your house. If you inform the 119 or the nearest police station, the police will visit you along with health authorities.
Meanwhile, the security forces intervened to make an arrangement for about 1,500 workers stranded in the Katunaika Free Trade Zone, unable to return home due to the curfew.
අවශ්‍යයි ඔබේ මුළු පවුලම 100% දක්වා විෂ බීජ වලින් ආරක්ෂා කර දෙයි.
Now, the COVID-19 Presidential Task Force met today with banking and finance sector representatives to hash out measures to ensure the ability of the economy to weather the current COVID-19 downturn. Task Force Chairman Basil Rajapaksa urged banks to ensure smooth functioning of vital banking services such as check clearances and advised the banks to provide mobile banking facilities to minimize public movements during curfew hours.
Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa, in a statement released today, says that the government has already successfully implemented measures to ensure that sufficient essential goods are available to the public affected by the coronavirus lockdown in the country. The Prime Minister has also directed Agriculture Department and Agrarian Service officials to provide all necessary facilities to households to promote the cultivation of home agriculture. In line with this directive, measures are to be implemented to supply all necessary fertilizer and seedlings via rural agrarian service centres, with cultivation advice to be provided by state agricultural officers. The Prime Minister called on the public to utilise the lockdown period during the COVID-19 outbreak to engage in such activities that can possibly help avoid any future food issues. Meanwhile, the government's newly appointed COVID-19 task force met today at Temple Trees under the chairmanship of President's Special Representative Basil Rajapaksa. At the meeting, where banking and financial sector representatives were also in attendance, discussions centred around measures required to maintain a strong economy. Also discussed were measures to ensure smooth continued functioning of commercial bank services such as check clearance, ATM services, mobile ATM services using minimum staff. An agreement was reached to maintain operations of at least one bank branch in each divisional secretariat during curfew hours. Focus was also drawn to the implementing measures such as the operation of mobile banking services that could minimize the need for members of the public to venture outdoors.
This coming 15 days are the most crucial period. So now, in comparison to the statistics of other countries also, the first 15 days fairly okay. Now, the first corona plus Sri Lankan patient was found on the 11th of this month. Maybe completed 15 days. Then the number, the cases would be, multiple cases have been reported. So therefore, priority should be given to adhere with this quarantine rules and regulations. So social distancing. So that is the number one principle we all should adhere. Not distributing money, accounts, exchanging money. So those are the second things. So therefore, I have been attending all these meetings conducted by health experts. So the mobile service is the best one instead of all these things. If it is, I believe that they don't have sufficient vehicles, but they can hire vehicles. We have some community policing police officers at village level. So the community policing police officer, he knows all ins and out of that particular area, village. So if they are able to hire vehicles, especially state bands, so we can provide our services with the orders of IG police. We don't have any problem. So because we have, every village has a community policing police officer. Gram Sevaka is there, Samudini Amaka is there. So we can provide our service. Otherwise, during this period, especially this coming 15 days, if we are not able to adhere with quarantine rules and regulations, so it will be a help.
We'll see you again shortly after this break. Stay tuned. Welcome back. You're watching First at 9. Now, despite a curfew being put in place to curb the spread of COVID-19, members of the public was provided with essential services throughout the country. Meanwhile, the government issued a directive to close all private pharmacies island-wide when the curfew is in effect. However, the state also introduced a new system enabling people to obtain medicines without inconvenience.
The Presidential Task Force on the Prevention of COVID-19 recently introduced a new program of door-to-door deliveries of essential food items to the public during the curfew. Its first phase commenced today, centering on areas of Kotte and Nugegoda. The Cargill supermarket chain sold essential food items door-to-door today. Meanwhile, the distribution of essential commodities initiated by Satosa, along with Pick-Me Foods, was also expanded today. The Consumer Affairs Authority monitored whether the vegetables are being sold at inflated prices at the Manning market, exploiting the current situation. Vegetable prices at the Damul Economic Centre, however, were down today. Meanwhile, upon the government announcing the closure of private pharmacies and supermarkets, the OIC of Megoda Police ordered the trading at the Megoda Economic Centre to be stopped. The government, however, issued no directive to close such economic centres. Trading resumed later at the Economic Centre in Megoda. Meanwhile, following the acting IGP's orders to close down all pharmacies except outlets of the State Pharmaceutical Corporation, the government introduced a special program enabling private pharmacies to deliver drugs to the homes of their customers. By accessing www.health.gov.lk, the public can identify the outlets which will render this delivery service. By sending a prescription given by a qualified physician via WhatsApp, Viber or Emo, the delivery will be made within 24 hours. Payments can be made in cash or online, and the consumer will be charged a reasonable delivery fee. The Ministry of Health informs the public to contact 0720 720 720 or 0720 606 060 for more information. Meanwhile, the Tourism Development Authority states that arrangements have been made for foreigners who are stranded here in Sri Lanka to return home. They can contact 1912, a hotline introduced to provide information regarding the arrangements. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Foreign Relations launched the online portal Contact Sri Lanka for Sri Lankans living overseas. Sri Lankans living abroad can gain access via www.mfa.gov.lk and also through www.contactsrilanka.mfa.gov.lk. All Sri Lankans living abroad are invited to register on the platform's basic functionalities, allowing the Government of Sri Lanka to reach out and provide assistance to them during emergencies such as the COVID-19 outbreak.
Now, the Ministry of Health has issued a notice to patients with non-communicable diseases such as diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease and high cholesterol. It says that hospital medical clinics are functioning on schedule and medicines will be issued for 2 months. Patients are encouraged not to come to the clinic in person due to the high risk and instead send a healthy, responsible person with the clinic book to collect the medicines. The ministry said that for those who missed the clinic dates, medicines can be obtained through OPD on any weekday, adding that clinic records or diagnosis cards can be used as a curfew pass. For more information, the public is requested to contact Director of the Non-Communicable Diseases Unit at the Ministry of Health, Dr. Vindhya Kumarapelli on 0112 669 599. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has instructed the Sri Lanka Ports Authority to immediately provide necessary facilities to ships calling at ports in the country during the curfew period. Accordingly, the chairman of SLPA, General Derana, says all ships have been exempted from demurrage and entry charges. Whilst all shipping being exempted from demurrage and entry charges, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has also directed to offer several more reliefs in order to continue regular operations at ports. Measures will be taken to grant required facilities to the business community at port premises itself to ensure uninterrupted import and export mechanism. In a media communique quoting Chairman of SLPA General Derana, the President's Media Division said that Sri Lanka Customs, SLPA terminals operated within the Colombo port and other privately owned terminals will collaborate in this effort. Facilities provided include complete removal of yard and warehouse rental charges for imported containers and goods and imported empty containers during the curfew period. Harbour gate access permits and individual access permits currently available for trucks, lorries, tippers and bowsers used by the port for its transportation purposes, and harbour gate access permits currently available to agencies and companies for their common or private vehicles are also made valid during the curfew period. The statement also says that the Sri Lanka Police has taken steps to issue licenses for private sector workers engaged in essential and related duties on the recommendation of the Sri Lanka Ports Authority. What's more, facilities have been arranged to obtain fuel needed for the container and freight carriers operating between the terminals and inter-terminals at the port. SLPA employees engaged in essential services will also be provided sanitation, welfare and transportation facilities. In the meantime, the government has decided to order the closure of all free trade zones in the country as a safety precaution in face of COVID-19 outbreak. Instructions were also given to the Board of Investment to obtain assistance from the Army and the police in organising transport of workers stranded at boarding houses back to their hometowns with immediate effect.
Minister of Industrial Export, Investment Promotion, Tourism and Civil Aviation Prasanna Ranatunga has ordered the closure of all free trade zones in the country until further notice. The Board of Investment has been directed to obtain the assistance of the police and the army in facilitating the safe return of all FTZ employees stranded at boarding houses back to their homes. These instructions were issued during a meeting held at the BOI in Katunayake today between Minister Ranatunga, BOI officials, factory owners and representatives. Authorities were also instructed to provide the stranded FTZ employees daily meals until their departures can be arranged. Further, all workers are to be given medical checkups prior to transport to their respective homes. Instructions were also given to factory representatives engaged in the manufacture of medical equipment to provide their staff adequate health and food facilities to ensure the continuation of local production.
The government has requested all Sri Lankans currently overseas and eagerly anticipating returning to the country to remain safely in their current locations until the coronavirus is brought under control in Sri Lanka. Now, issuing a statement today, the President's Media Division stated that the government has taken several steps to prevent the spread of COVID-19 in the country and that as a measure to prevent the virus from entering the country and spreading, all arrivals from foreign countries have been completely suspended. It said that other countries too have followed the same steps and have suspended all travel within the country as well as airline services. The government says that requests from Sri Lankan students, businessmen and migrant workers currently overseas will be considered after the coronavirus is eradicated within the country and the situation returns to normalcy. The statement warned that they too will be at risk of contracting the virus by travelling to airports or any other location from the places where they are currently at. Now, after an island-wide curfew was imposed as a measure to prevent the spread of COVID-19, AdaDerana launched a special campaign to assist the people affected by the current situation. Humanitarian arm distributed dry rations and essential items today as well, purchased with donations made by various factions, including from members of the public. Accordingly, essential items were distributed among the needy and places of worship, including temples and churches. Now, leader of the United National Party, Ranil Wickremesinghe, today promised to unconditionally support all government measures taken by the government with the best interest of the people at heart in the fight against COVID-19 pandemic. The former Prime Minister urged the government to put in place several measures, which also included seeking medical equipment from Japan, which were originally intended for the now postponed Olympic Games.
Leader of the United National Party and former Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe urges the government to take several measures in view of health authorities cautioning that coronavirus COVID-19 could peak in the country during the period from the 4th to the 11th of April.
වහාම ක්‍රියාත්මක වන පරිදි රජයේ හා පෞද්ගලික සෞඛ්‍ය සේවා ඒකාබද්ධ සැලැස්මක් සකස් කොට සෞඛ්‍ය සේවා අධ්‍යක්ෂ ජෙනරල්වරයාගේ අධීක්ෂණය හා සම්බන්ධීකරණ යටතේ ක්‍රියාවට නංවන්න. මේ මගින් පුළුල් සෞඛ්‍ය සේවාවක් ලබා ගැනීමේ හැකියාවක් තිබෙනවා. පුද්ගලික රෝහල් වෙතින් නොමිලේ පරීක්ෂණ සේවා ලබා ගැනීමේ ක්‍රමවේදයක් සකසා ඒ වියදම් රජය මගින් දරන්නේ. පරීක්ෂණ කටයුතු සඳහා අවශ්‍ය ප්‍රමාණිකගත උපකරණ ගෙන්වීම සඳහා රාජ්‍ය හා පුද්ගලික සෞඛ්‍ය අංශ දිරිමත් කරන්න. මුඛ ආවරණ හා වෙන්ටිලේටර් ගෙන්වා ගැනීම හා ලංකාවේ නිෂ්පාදනය කිරීම ගැන කඩිනම් පියවර ගන්න. අධිසත්කාර ඇඳන් ප්‍රමාණය ඉහළ නැංවීමට කටයුතු කරන්න. ඔලිම්පික් උළෙල කල් දමා ඇති නිසා ඒ වෙනුවෙන් ගෙන්වන ලද සෞඛ්‍ය උපකරණ ගණනාවක් ජපානය සතුව තිබෙනවා. ඒවායින් කියම් ප්‍රමාණයක් මේ අවස්ථාවේ අපිට ලබාගත හැකිදයි විමසා බලන්න. මම දැනටමත් මේ පිළිබඳ ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ ජපාන් තානාපතිතුමාට දන්වා තිබෙනවා. ඉන්දියා හා ශ්‍රී ප්‍රජාව මහමූදේ දීවර කටයුතු වලදී සමීපයෙන් කටයුතු කිරීම වැළැක්වීමේ මාර්ග සොයා බලන්න. අවංක චේතනාවෙන් හා සත්භාවයෙන් යුතුව ආණ්ඩුව ගන්නා සියලු පියවර සඳහා කොන්දේසි විරහිතව එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂය සහාය දක්වන බව මම නැවතත් ප්‍රකාශ කරන්නට කැමැතියි.
We'll see you again shortly. Bear with us. Welcome back. You're watching First at 9. Now, Colombo Stock Exchange has declared the period from 25th to the 27th of March this year as market holidays. The decision has been taken in view of the extension of the ongoing curfew in the districts of Colombo, Gampaha and Puttlam. Accordingly, the market will be closed from 25th to the 27th of March. The Dow Jones Industrial Average enjoyed its strongest 3 days in 9 decades yesterday as records weekly US jobless claims came in below investors' worst fears and the focus stayed on the unprecedented $2 trillion stimulus awaiting approval by the US House of Representatives. The Dow finished up 21% from its Monday low, establishing it in a bull market, according to a widely used definition. It was the index's strongest 3-day percentage increase since 1931. The number of Americans filing claims for unemployment benefits surged to 3.28 million last week as statewide lockdowns brought the US economy to a halt and unleashed a wave of layoffs. The S&P 500 benchmark index also launched a third straight day of gains for the first time since mid-February, before coronavirus fears stopped Wall Street's 11-year bull market. Since Monday, the S&P 500 has surged about 17%, although it remains down 22% from its February 2019 record high. And that's it from all of us here at First at 9. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.